Zentrix AI. Advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready? Zentrix AI. Advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't checked out the Zentrix AI Telegram, I'll drop it in the chat again. Go check it out if you are not part of the community yet. Check it out, completely free to join. We're looking to launch very, very soon. If you're looking to learn more about AI, how you can utilize the tool of AI in your trading, whether you're looking at automated bots, developing strategies, refining strategies, developing indicators, and a lot more, make sure you do head over and find more information and of course updates regarding the launch. We're also looking for traders to test out the platform before we do launch, so go check that out if you are interested. Get your Solana wallets ready because you will need that to access the platform as well. But you can head over to the Telegram and there'll be a link there which will take you to an application to fill out if you are looking to test the platform. But I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to another stream. What is up, Kazim? Hope you are doing good. As always, guys, we'll go through USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold, and silver. Any requests, drop it down in the chat. We'll take a look, and of course, any particular time frames as well you want me to take a look at, let me know, and we will get to it. But first things first, we shall take a look at the DXY. So if you haven't checked out the analysis coming into the week from the weekend, the weekly analysis I posted, the summary or the conclusion of that, and especially regarding USD, is that I'm kind of looking for more USD strength. The dollar is not necessarily strong right now. Yes, it's gained some strength the past kind of few hours, but overall we've been in a pretty bearish trend. We're seeing lower lows and low highs. But to me, it looks like the market is running out of steam. Looks like we are becoming a bit more fatigued, a bit more corrective. So I do think at some point in time, the dollar is going to have a bit of relief of that and see a bit of an uptrend. And that's kind of what I'm looking to wait for. And hopefully some buying opportunities can look to form after that. Basically, what I want to see on the dollar is a strong up move, something like this, and then a correction of that, and then the buys hopefully will follow on a nice pullback somewhere. Basically, bit of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. There's your left shoulder, there's your head. That kind of gives you the neckline, and there's your right shoulder for the buy. So that's kind of really what I'm waiting for in terms of a big swing buy for USD. It looks like we are starting to form a low here. We're picking up some strength, so perhaps now it's time for a bit of a pullback. We have been moving in this descending channel for quite a while, bouncing off the lower end of it as well. So it looks like we are starting to cross over into the upper region of this channel, and possibly you are going to push back into the up end of the channel there. So I'm looking for a lot more upside before I do look for buys myself. But again, I'm not really interested in shorting the dollar. I did mention, keep an eye if you are intraday. If you're looking for intraday opportunities, I think short still makes sense as we do approach this kind of area here. There might be a nice reaction for a couple of days. You can take advantage of that. But I think the bigger move for USD will be to the upside. So if you do get short, be wary of that. The market's been short for quite a while, showing signs of fatigue. I'm not necessarily expecting us to keep selling off to the downside in this kind of manner, I would need to see a lot more bearish momentum for me to have a bit more faith that this bearish trend is going to continue. And right now, we're just not really seeing that momentum, so I expect more upside. But I can understand looking for shorts as we approach the upper end of the channel, coming back into a nice area of supply to our left. This could give us a nice reaction. I'm just not expecting anything too big, because I do think the bigger move will be to the upside. So that's really what I'm banking on. So taking that information into Euro USD, looking for some downside. This one's already looking pretty bearish this morning. We've got pretty much the similar setup over here with this trend line confluence. So of course you're connecting this low, this low, this low, and possibly a new low could form. So again, looking for more downside for Euro. This could be a nice area for a buy. As I said, I think this is a nice area for a buy, especially intraday, keeping it short and sweet. I'm not too sure about a big swing for Euro and a continuation of the trend, because I do think Euro is quite tired, and we could be looking at something like this over the next few days, which is basically the inverse of what I'm looking at on the dollar. And that's kind of what I'm looking to try and take advantage of in terms of shorting Euro. But again, we're a long way away from that. Still need to see a lot more downside and a big pullback before I can talk about those shorting opportunities. So for now, if you are looking to buy Euro, it does make sense. I would wait for price to push back into this area at 1.63. Not only have we got a nice area of demand where we did push up really well, we've got prior resistance to our left, which of course will be turned support. And you've got a healthy trend line running through the market connecting these swing lows. So it does meet up quite well with a layer of confluences. Excuse me. So keep a close eye on that area. Could be a smart place for a buy. The only thing is I'm not expecting a big move. So that's the main reason why I'm not so interested, because I think the market's a bit overbought. And I think the bigger move is going to be to the downside, which is kind of what I'm waiting for. But I would keep a close eye at 1.163 for some opportunities. Pound USD, kind of the same situation as well. You know, we've been bullish for a while. I do think pound's running out of steam as well. Fairly frequent pullbacks. We're coming quite corrective now as well. So I do see pound USD doing something like this over the next few days, few weeks. So I'm not so interested with the buys, more intrigued with the sells. I did suggest a retest of this consolidation, which kind of did get it last week, but I was hoping for a bit of a deeper test than that. More so kind of into this area before shorting. Looks like pound's already pretty weak right now, and we don't need that pullback necessarily, and we're looking pretty weak right now. I did say on the weekly analysis that we're looking for shorts off the retest of this area for a push into at least this area for the week. I think that's a realistic expectation. You know, prices bouncing from that consolidation. We've got kind of a big consolidation underneath us over here, which did give us a lot of momentum, and no retest since the breakout. So price could come back and retest that area. Perhaps we do see a bounce to the upside as well. The market is still bullish technically until we do break out and take out some structure. If price can do that, then we'll be bearish indeed. But again, price still got a long way to go before it does that. So at the moment, pound USD is looking bearish. I do expect us to keep falling at least back to this area. Perhaps there could be some short-term buys off that level. Similar idea to Euro, coming back into a nice area of demand. The market is still bullish, so buys are still a good option. It's just that we are probably coming more to the end of the trend. So if you are still going to take buys and look to follow the trend, you know, keep it short and sweet, or just manage closely. You know, if you see some red flags creeping in, it's probably the market's going to reverse. So be wary of that. But yeah, I would keep an eye on some buy opportunities at 1.35. Maybe if the market was to push back up again, there might be some shorts later in the week. I'm not too sure if we will go do that, but that's a possibility. So I'll keep an eye for that. But at the moment, this might be a nice area for a short-term buy. So keep a lookout for that if you are interested. Dollar CAD seems to be quite bullish. Might have left us in the dust a little bit here. I did say I was keeping a close eye for some buys this week for dollar CAD. I was looking for hopefully a deeper test of this support level. And then looking for some buys perhaps on the counter trend line break, which would have been a nice confirmation. We did get that early in the morning, and now price is really committed to the upside. So I was hoping for us to kind of have a deeper test of this area, maybe even wick through the low, then give us the reaction. But looks like early Monday morning, prices are already showing a lot of signs of momentum. I think maybe CAD's a bit weak as well. But yeah, dollar CAD looking pretty bullish. I've been speaking about some dollar CAD buys in terms of where we're trading. You can see if we look to the left, massive area of demand. Last time we were here, what happened? Very, very big move to the upside. So naturally expecting buyers to be entering positions back here again. I'm not necessarily expecting a huge up move from this area, but I do think we can have a reaction. And of course, we're having one at the moment. So in terms of opportunities for dollar CAD, since we've had the reaction of the low now, the next best opportunity would be some pullbacks to retest some of these lower time frame structure. So if I drop to the hourly, something like this to come back and retest structure, or even a retest of this high here as well. Again, these are more intraday setups, kind of looking for a trade for maybe a few hours for the session. This is a nice idea because you're looking to trade that momentum and you're looking for pullbacks to continue it. So dollar CAD to me looks really bullish. I think more upside is likely. Looking at this as a large double bottom, so my target for the week is a push back to this resistance level at 1.378. So that's where I expect us to get to. So in my book, there's a lot more upside to be had for dollar CAD. So pullbacks and buying opportunities in the lower time frames is kind of what I think would look good, especially if you're looking for those shorter term intraday opportunities. Aussie dollar looking pretty bearish. Looks like it's just missed my 0.66 area. It looks like we're having that big sell-off, which we've been looking for. I haven't necessarily broke out of the channel yet, but we are seeing some serious momentum, and I wonder if that is what we're kind of looking to do. So with Aussie dollar, I've spoken a lot about how corrective we've been, and because we're so corrective, I do expect us to kind of break lower. I was talking about pushing to 0.66, which is basically just the up end of the channel, just like we did over here, So basically looking for price to smash into that level, find some rejection, some shorts in that area, stops above the high, and then hopefully trade it back to the lower end of the channel. Looks like we got about 80% of the way there before price decided they didn't want to do that and reverse. So unfortunately missed out on some shorting opportunities there for Aussie. We are approaching the low of the channel. There might be some nice buys. We have been very, very consistent, to be fair, off the low of the channel. So there could be a buy opportunity there. I'm not really interested. Reason being, because when I do see corrective markets like this, my expectation is always expecting price to break lower. So looking to try and buy and follow this trend isn't really something I want to be doing. I want to be trying to go against it and find momentum lower. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, there might be some buys, so keep a lookout for rejection. If we do go and break through, then I do think the floodgates can open and we can see a lot more downside for Aussie dollar. Probably a push back to this area. At least, I think we can probably go further, but at least around 0.63. So yeah, keep a close eye as we come back to the lower end of the channel. New Zealand dollar, pretty much doing the same thing as Aussie, both kind of moving in corrective channels. The Aussie dollar is a bit more easy to spot, but both of them moving in channels here. So you can see higher highs and higher lows overall. But for the most part, New Zealand dollar has been very corrective on the way up. We rejected the high of the channel last week. And since then, the market's been very corrective, but we've picked up momentum recently. And it looks to me that price is just on a one-way ticket back to the low end of the channel. So again, we'll see what price does there. Perhaps we do bounce again. I think we'll probably break through, but we'll see what type of price action we get when we get there. And if we do break through, then looking for a push back into this low. Not too sure about how far we could go, because this is a pretty big level. But we'll probably look into that a bit more when we actually do get the breakout. But for now, very strong move down, expecting a lot more downside there for New Zealand dollar into the low end of the channel. Gold, I'm not a big fan of gold. I'm kind of just staying away from gold for now, just because the way I see gold is kind of like a big consolidation, really. So I'm not trying to force any opportunities inside of this unless they look very, very clear to me, which at the moment, not quite so. I don't mind the buys here as we do approach this level here again, sort of looking like an inverse head and shoulder pattern. There's your left shoulder, there's your head, there's your right shoulder. That's your buy. So really you want to be seeing buy confirmations in this area to take gold to the upside again, or at least a push back into this high here. So you really want to be seeing some confirmations there. As I drop to the hourly chart, not quite seeing that, but I do like how price is moving. We had a very strong move down, and it looks like momentum is starting to die out, and we're starting to move a bit more corrective. So perhaps if you can see a strong push to the upside, that would be a nice entry confirmation, and then we can target the high end of that resistance, maybe further as well. Gold, after all, is still bullish in the bigger picture of things, so I do have that natural bullish bias for gold, expecting price to get to 3,500 and beyond. But for the most part, for the past few weeks now, couple of months even, gold is essentially moving sideways, so it's always going to be a bit difficult trying to find those intricate positions inside a range, because you're always going to get that natural fluctuation, and stops are a little bit more prone to getting tapped and faked out. So I'll be cautious in there for gold. But I like the area, especially on the lower time frames. Just wouldn't look for anything too big just because of how we're moving. But a push back to resistance there makes sense to me, around 33.63. And finally got silver, which is starting to fail at the highs a little bit. I did manage to get a position on silver last week. I was hoping to see a slightly bigger retracement into this area. Unfortunately, didn't quite see that. We formed a lot of wicks just above it, and that was apparently enough for silver to see some upside. But we're not really setting the world alight anymore. We're kind of fading at highs right now. Did see a pretty big rejection there. Can probably just box this whole thing off and just call it consolidation, really. I still like the possibility of a retest of this daily level. So that's really where I want to find my entries. Not so interested about the price action in here. I think we are pulling back into some prior resistance, which will be turn support. I think this could still be a nice place for a buy. Something of a bit of like a bowl shape pattern. But again, it's inside a range. It's a bit more of an intricate position. It's not of high quality, especially with how price is moving. Always at risk of getting kind of wicked out in this kind of scenario. So I'll be very careful about the buys in this area. Because essentially we're trading in the middle of the range, which is normally not a good idea. So this looks good because it's kind of out the way of everything, testing a big level, which we had a very strong breakout of. There's a brief range here as well, which I know if price taps into, a good chance of price reacting as well. A lot of buying pressure came from there. So I like this area because it's away from the noise, can get relatively safe stop loss, retest the big level in the daily chart. It's a reasonable place to expect price to continue a trend. Inside of here, sure, there might be some nice buying opportunities, but be careful. Conditions are very choppy. But for the bigger picture, silver still bullish, gold still bullish. Just that they're both kind of very sideways right now, so I would be careful. So that's kind of where I'm at on USD. Where was I? Adams, what's up? Yes, we'll take a look at the DAX, no problem. Malik, good morning, my man. Yes, I had a nice weekend. Thank you for asking. Hope your weekend was good as well. Sophia, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Dimar, good morning. Hope you're well. Simbanolo, morning. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, we are seeing that, to be fair. We are seeing that. USD has been looking very tired, so it does look like USD strength is entering into the market. And yeah, I mean, I haven't been looking to follow the downtrend for DXY for a while, so it looks like we are seeing that kind of retracement. Is it a reversal? Is it just a bigger retracement? We'll find out. But yeah, it looks like dollar strength is starting to enter the market now. Good call there. CS Integrated, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Welcome. What's up, Roadway? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What I think of the indices, I'll take a look at them. Haven't really been focusing on the indices as of late, but I will go through. Dan, gold might be changing. Gold's all over the place. Structure's all over the place. It's just not kind of clear cut with gold. Yes, the overall picture is still very bullish, but the way I see it, we're kind of just flat here. So we probably change structure, change structure again. You know, there's no consistency really apart from the up and down nature of gold. So I'll be very cautious about trying to find opportunities. I think low time frame is kind of where it's at, kind of taking those shorter term moves any kind of big swing for gold is a bit difficult just because of how sideways we are. You want price to kind of maybe push back into some lows. That would make a bit more sense to look for buying opportunities down there. But yeah, if you're intraday, you might be able to take a bounce off a level here and there. But it's just very, very choppy here for gold. So not the biggest fan of the price action at the moment. Structure could be changing, but then it could change again very, very quickly afterwards. So I'll be cautious with gold. Anyway, let's go through the DAX that was requested earlier. We'll go through the DAX. We'll go through some other indices as well. CS integrated. Okay, sell position, euro and pound, nice. Aussie and NZD. Okay, really taking advantage of that USD strength there. Not too sure to hold or take profit now. Assume. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of looking for that as well. Yeah, I mean, I think you're in the right direction of the bigger move. I think that's where euro, pound, Aussie, NZD, all those pairs, because I'm expecting a lot more USD strength. So I think you're in the right direction. And I would expect us to potentially keep going, especially because of where we are trading at the moment. I'll go into a bit more detail shortly. Let me just go take a look at the DAX. So in terms of the DAX, okay, finding support. Not very clean though. Last time I looked at the DAX, I believe we were trading around here on Friday. So yeah, I've been pretty bullish on the DAX, looking for price to come back and retest the highs, basically, not trying to overcomplicate things. The DAX as a whole is in a very clear uptrend. We've recently pulled back, sort of kind of like a retest of the high here. Dipped below slightly, but the way I see it, market's not always going to be perfect and give you the perfect retest. Sometimes it will dip below a level and then recover, and that's kind of what the DAX has done. I do think there's a very good chance that we do return back to highs here and just continue the natural trend of the DAX at the moment. So dropping to the lower time frames, we did speak a lot about this bullish structure here. I said as long as this continues and stays healthy, I'm just expecting us to go and retest the highs. As long as we didn't take out this low here, which of course we haven't, I'm still very bullish on the DAX. I was talking about a double bottom here. Maybe didn't really turn out how I would expect it to do. I was expecting probably a deeper test of that support level, maybe a wick through the low there a little bit before we do turn around. We just about tapped into it. Now we're looking pretty bullish. But yeah, in terms of direction for the DAX, onwards and upwards, that's what I'm expecting. Perhaps if we can clear resistance here, there might be some opportunities on a break and retest of that area to, again, continue that bullish structure. Find break and retest opportunities, higher lows, take it back into highs here. And of course, you've got the highs over there to worry about as well. But yeah, DAX, very, very bullish for me. I would keep an eye on break and retest opportunities. This low is still intact, which of course is the low which gave us this high. So that's a very important leg. Still viewing this as just retracement for us to continue our bullish trend there. So still very bullish on the DAX. Of course, I wouldn't be looking to enter opportunities just now because we're approaching resistance, of course. So either price has to pull back against me into support, then yes, we can base a trade there, or perhaps go and break through. We can use that on a retest, find support, and hopefully find some buys off the back of that. But in terms of direction, only bullish, only looking to buy as long as we stay above this low, break through that low, then I think we'll probably return back to this area, and then there might be some nice shorts along the way. But for now, the DAX, still very bullish, still expecting a push back to 24,486. Okay, so we'll look at some other indices. So US 30. So yeah, US 30 looking very bullish. Have we hit the all-time highs yet? No, we haven't. So I think there's still just about some nice opportunities here with the Dow Jones, because we're still very, very likely to go and take out the all-time highs. But we haven't quite done that yet. So especially if you're intraday, there might be some nice buys to take advantage along the way. Massive gap there. It would be nice to go and fill that gap. Perhaps go and respect these lows again. That would be a nice opportunity. And of course, you've got the all-time highs just above you there. So that's a healthy target to have. You of course have this as a target as well, or intermediate target. But I would expect US 30 to go and push through 45k. So more upside for US30. Of course, the trend at the moment is very, very bullish, very, very clean. I would say that although, yes, we're looking very bullish, we're starting to see some bigger pullbacks. So it's starting to become a little bit more corrective. And I kind of would expect that anyway, as we do approach the all-time high. I think we will slow down. We will end up taking out the high. And maybe after that happens, we see the bigger pullback. But at the moment, there's still a lot of bullish momentum in the market at the moment. Buyers are still very much in control. I would only be looking to buy. Very high chance we go and take out this high probably this week, to be honest. So just finding pullbacks makes sense. As for S&P and NAS, of course, they've already made new all-time highs, so they're not as fun as US30. If anything, I think a pullback is in store for these guys pretty soon. That's S&P 500. We take a look at the NAS. That's taking out the all-time highs as well. So I wouldn't be as bullish on these because they've taken out the all-time highs. I would expect a retracement pretty soon afterwards. But of course, US30, there's value there. Haven't taken out the all-time highs yet. S&P and NAS have. US30 is probably just lagging behind a little bit. So you can look to go and trade that that catch up from US30 back to highs and probably some new highs after as well. But you probably will want to drop intraday for that opportunity. But yeah, for NAS 100, bullish at the moment. I will be looking for a bit of retracement, to be honest. Of course, I wouldn't try and look to short that. Price could always go a little bit higher, especially for the indices. So I wouldn't be interested in trying to short or call the tops on this move. Yes, the market's still bullish. We could still grind a bit higher. Could still see another couple legs. But this is the plan. This is the idea. Market's running out of steam. Created highs, looking for a bit of a drop. Then perhaps maybe a retest, and then we see another big up move. Of course, that'll probably take a couple of weeks to play out, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. And same thing if I head over to the S&P. Very, very bullish at the moment. We've taken out all-time highs, so kind of expecting us to slowly grind higher a little bit, then expecting a bit of relief to the downside. But yeah, trying to call that top and where that drop is going to happen, very, very difficult to do. It could be this week, could be the week after next, could be next month. So you need to be very cautious about trying to call the tops there, especially for the indices. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. We'll go take a look at some of those positions on USD for CS integrated. Well, if interest rates are cut, we should be seeing a weak USD, but long term could still see some more strength, to be honest, for USD. Depends on other events and other outcomes, but I do think we'll probably still see a long term USD strength. That's kind of what I say long term, but I don't know, maybe a few months potentially. I think the overall trajectory for USD is still down. I think we can see a bit of a relief for a while, and that's kind of what I'm looking to trade. What's up to Shepo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Dollar yen, Dan. Okay, we'll take a look as well. No problem. But yeah, CS integrated. I think you positioned very, very well, to be honest, because you kind of shorted at the highs and prices now starting to dip. Of course, we're not necessarily bearish just yet, so there's always a chance that euro could still see higher prices, pound could still higher prices. Although Aussie and NZD look pretty good, I must say. We've had a lot of momentum to the downside on those in particular. Euro and pound are slightly stronger, so they haven't dropped as hard. But I do think they are due a lot more downside. So I do agree with that bias of expecting USD strength and expecting euro to drop, pound to drop, Aussie to drop, etc. And in terms of managing, though, that's always the difficult part because price might rally against you and then drop later on. So there's always that kind of situation to deal with. You might be in the right direction, but there might be just one last rally that knocks you off the position before price continues in your favor, which isn't necessarily bad because you can't always predict that. And the best reaction, the best way to kind of solve that problem is just get back into the trade if you get another opportunity. If the market does go against you, let's say knocks you out at break even, you can always look to re-enter if things still look good. But I would try and hold that position. It depends on your risk reward and what you're looking for, cease integrated. But I'll try and hold that position because I think I'll be well positioned. Euro, you said you'll sell from 1.81, 1.181, which would be right the high there. Yeah, so I think you're very, very well positioned, to be honest. I'll probably secure some gains along the way, just pay myself, but I would try and look for a bigger move because I think I will be well positioned for that. Pound USD entry, I'm guessing you entered at similar time, 1.376. So that would be around there. So yeah, very well positioned for pound as well. Aussie dollar. That one's already had a nice move down. So Aussies are a lot more kind of confirmed. You're already seeing momentum come in for the bears here. Of course, that could still be reversed, but a little bit less likely we'll see that reverse. And I think there's a good chance Aussie dollar sees a lot more downside. 0.658, so that's around there. And New Zealand dollar. $6.1, which would be the high there. So yeah, I think you're well positioned. I mean, New Zealand dollar is probably the one that's moved in your favor the most. So yeah, I would try and hold that position because the idea about shorting high and trying to call the tops is that if you are right, you're positioned well to take advantage of a pretty big move against you. You know, if you enter later here, you know, you're always at risk of price coming back to take your entry out. Because of the nature of how FX pairs move, we do fluctuate, we do pull back quite a lot. So you're always at risk of that pullback knocking out the trade. But if you have the top here, you can stomach some decent pullbacks and still take advantage of the bigger move because you're way over here. You know, you're way away from all the noise and the rest of the people battling out for positions later on. So what I would do is I'll try and look for that bigger move because I think I'm well positioned for it. But I would also show respect to the market and take profits when I can, and partial out just because, maybe we are wrong. Maybe USD is going to be weak and maybe price does reverse and go against us like that. So you want to pay yourself for the moves that you have caught, which is some nice reactions for the USD pairs. So I would try and push, but yeah, pay yourself as well. Because maybe USD is going to be weak and maybe price doesn't go quite in our favor. But I do have the same bias. I'm personally looking for pretty big moves to the downside for pound euro. I think they are quite stretched. So from a swing point of view, I think there's some nice swings on the way down as well. Okay, so we'll take a look at dollar yen as well. Euro pound, Vladone, okay, we'll take a look, no problem. Okay, cuts off the table, next meeting, okay. Yeah, so I think we could see some strength in USD. No problem, cease integrated. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. You can always just leave a position to run. Take your profits when they're there because the market can be very unforgiving. You think you're positioned well, you think you're going to catch a nice trend, and then you just see the market turn around and there is no trend to take advantage of. So I'm always a fan of paying yourself when you get an opportunity to do so. Of course, not too quickly because you want to let your profits run a little bit. But if you got a decent position relative to how the market's trading, which I think you have, you want to take advantage of that because you don't always catch those positions. So I think taking advantage of that makes sense, but yeah, pay yourself as well. And then of course there could be re-entries as well. Lonely Soul, a good day to you as well. Hope you're well. Get your opinion on pound CAD, no problem. We'll take a look at pound CAD. I'll go through pound CAD, euro pound, dollar yen. Have I missed out a pair? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So yeah, I'll go dollar yen, euro pound, pound CAD. Malik, what is up, my man? Still bearish on dollar CAD intraday, okay. At least 1.134. Looking to enter at current price. Thoughts? Okay, I'll go take a look as well. Let me go through some of the requested pairs, but I will get to dollar CAD. So dollar yen. So dollar yen looking very bullish, very awkward pair. I'm not gonna lie. Not a big fan of how we've been moving. Very flat. You kind of got these two kind of weird breakouts to the upside. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now with euro pound, not euro pound, sorry, dollar yen, and we're kind of just fluctuating in this area. So I haven't really been looking for any opportunities because I think the price action is not great. Until we get some consistency in terms of, okay, we're starting to create higher highs at this point. Now we're creating some higher lows. Of course, we can look for the next one, try and take advantage of that. Or does price come back into support? Maybe we bounce off that. Maybe there's a nice buy off that level. That could make sense as well. Or maybe we break through and then we can look for continuation trades. So something like that, I would be clear because I can analyze what price is doing with some clarity and with some confidence. But at the moment, price is just very sideways. So it's kind of anyone's game right now. At the moment, we're looking bullish. Yen's pretty weak at the moment as well. Of course, USD's gained some strength. So yeah, that's a bit of a recipe for a bullish move there for dollar yen. But is it going to be sustainable? Do we eventually get the breakout? I have no idea. We have to wait for that to happen. We might be looking bullish now, but we might just top out, come straight back down again. So not very interested with the price action with dollar yen until we get something a bit more sustainable. And that would be a breakout or a push back into major support. If I zoom to the daily chart, there is a very big level just below us here. If price was to push back into that area, I think that's a smart place to look for some buying opportunities. So yeah, that would be something I can make a bit more sense of. Or of course, we break to the upside. Then we can look for some pullbacks and some continuations off the back of that as well. So dollar yen, I would stay away personally. There might be some nice shorts within the range here. I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. But I can see the sense of it. I would personally stay away. So yeah, dollar yen, not a big fan of the price action in a ranging market. So until we get a clear-cut breakout, I would avoid looking to trade that. Okay, so euro pound. So euro pound has been very bullish. Seen a lot of upside last week. I was looking for a retest of this area for some buying opportunities because we had a nice pullback. Price came back into a nice area of demand. We reacted very well. Nice push to the upside there. I was hoping to see a retest of this level and then get the continuation. But it looks like euro pound was far too bullish for that. We kind of just moved sideways last week or the week before. And then we shot to the upside last week and almost coming back into resistance here. Almost, yeah, pretty much tested the low end of the resistance level there. But yeah, euro pound's been very bullish. So the plan is looking for shorting opportunities up here and buying opportunities down here. I still like the momentum. We still look very bullish. If the market was to have a nice slow and corrected pullback, I think this is still a very sensible place for a buy back into resistance. If the market was to push into resistance, though, I do think this is a nice place for a sell, depending how we react and how we behave. If we can see some necessary confirmations to back up some shorts, I think that's a great place to be looking to enter some selling opportunities and capitalize on a move down. Very solid resistance, big push down. Euro pound does chop around quite a lot. It's not really a pair which I'm always looking for breakouts and continuation plays. It's a very choppy pair, and it has been for quite a while. So shorting high, buying low is normally a good bet with euro pound, even if it is just for a short-term reaction, not necessarily a big swing. So yeah, euro pound, I'm seeing areas of interest above us and below us, and opportunities in both directions really. At the moment, kind of middle of nowhere, so I would stay away until we do approach at least one of the two zones, 0.856 or 0.87-ish. Could probably even focus this a little bit more towards that area, 0.872. That would be a more specific area which we can get nice stop loss above the zone. But yeah, euro pound kind of middle of nowhere right now, so I'd stay away. Hopefully we can pull back into this range here, get a retest there for some longs, and just follow the momentum which we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks here. Or we might push up anyway, test resistance, and we might find some shorts off the back of that. So until we get to one of those two areas, I would stay patient. But I don't really have a long-term bias with euro pound because Again, very, very choppy pair, so I'm not necessarily expecting anything big from Euro Pound. Just kind of taking it week by week, looking at smart areas to buy and sell from, and going from there. So yeah, hopefully that made sense with Euro Pound. If there is a particular pair that you guys do want me to take a look at, or particular time frame as well, let me know. Because most of the time I'll be on the 4-hour chart, daily chart, maybe sometimes hourly in terms of my analysis. But if you do want me to take a look at the 15 or the 5-minute or even the 1-minute, just let me know. Okay, so we'll go through pound CAD next, then we'll take a look at dollar CAD as well. Tommy, any setups for this week? I'll go through my watch list after I go through a couple more requests. No problem, Vladon, happy to help. Roddy, what's up? Hope you're well. What time of the trading sessions? I go live from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So yeah, every weekday, Monday to Friday. So 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. Can I trade only basing on a golfing pattern? What other combinations do I need? Plus analyze Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, I will take a look at Bitcoin. I wouldn't rely solely on engulfing candles. Engulfing candles I just use to enter a market, enter trades. Engulfing is not really the analysis part. It's more so, okay, momentum is now shifted in my favor. Let me now take the trade. The analysis part in terms of where I'm buying or where I'm selling from, the reason why I'm buying and selling, and my expectation of where the trade can go is purely based on, or mostly based on, market structure and just the conditions of the market. But no, I wouldn't not rely on solely engulfing patterns. Engulfing patterns, candlestick patterns in general are quite good just to back up entry confirmations and maybe some short-term direction, but I wouldn't use that as your whole kind of technical analysis. But yeah, I will go through BTC. Okay, I'll go through pound CAD and dollar CAD. Okay, so pound CAD. So yeah, this one again, as a whole, pretty bullish, has been grinding to the upside for a while. But I do think, again, we're coming to our last leg in the market, starting to run out of steam. I do think we can see a pretty big relief, sort of similar to what pound USD is going through. Pound CAD and pound USD are quite similar pairs after all. I do think we can see a bit of a downturn and maybe a bit of a bearish trend does form in a while. But as I drop to the 4-hour chart, there's a strong area of demand just below us here, which has been providing quite a lot of support for price at the moment. Still quite sideways though, so I'm not really liking the buying opportunities, but I do think we can see some type of relief here and a push higher. I'm also looking for some selling opportunities as we do approach this area here as well. Very strong push down, a lot of momentum there. I think that's a smart place for a short and a smart place to take price lower. So with pound CAD, I would only look for short-term moves, because I wouldn't really want to look to follow the trend, because I feel like it's coming to its last legs. I think this is still a smart place for a buy, just, again, not looking for a big move. And I like the sells as well, but again, I wouldn't look to try and capitalize on a big move down either. The trend is still up, so kind of just playing it cautious, finding smart areas to sell from, maybe holding the trade for a day or two, finding smart areas to buy from, maybe holding the trade for a day or two, and then probably looking to take most of our profits, or we can leave some positions to run if you want. But that's kind of the best I've got with pound CAD, because it's still a bullish market, still trending up, but you can see how fatigued we're looking, how corrective we're looking, the fact that price formed pretty much a double top at the high, very strong rejection to the downside there as well. So we're seeing a lot of signs that tells me that this trend isn't probably going to continue for much longer. So if I am going to buy, I'm going to keep it short and sweet mostly. If I'm going to sell, yes, there's the idea that we could capitalize on a big down move, but again, maybe the market does have one more leg to the upside as well, which we have to show respect for. So smart place to sell, smart place to buy. Keep an eye on the development in those areas. I think if I'm going to buy from here, I probably want to see another couple moves lower, just to show that we are a bit more corrective. This is looking very flat, so it doesn't really give me much confidence to jump into a trade. But if we come a little bit lower, maybe form a double bottom down there, that could benefit us for a trade. Same thing with that zone above us around 1.87. So yeah, those are the two zones I would keep a close eye on for pound CAD. But in terms of the longer bias, I'll kind of wait for more information before really looking to follow anything, to be honest. In terms of dollar CAD, so Malik, you said you're still short bias intraday and you're looking to short around to at least 1.134. Okay, misread you there. You're still short bias intraday to 1.134. Okay. Is that a typo or? Because 1.134 would take us all the way. Yeah, it would take us way down there. And I don't think that's an intraday bias. So yeah, I think that's a typo. But you're looking to enter at current price or 1.378. So 378 would be up at the highs here. So that level there, or at current price. So yeah, the way I see dollar CAD right now is that things are looking pretty bullish. Personally, I'm a bit more bullish on dollar CAD. I think there's a bit more upside to be had with this pair. Main reason, we've been trending to the downside, yes, but we are starting to look a bit more fatigued. We are looking quite corrective now, so I do think naturally the market is due a bit of a pullback, especially with the zone we're testing at the moment. Big area of demand to our left here where we did consolidate briefly. Had a really big move to the upside as well. So that to me is a natural area where buyers could be looking to enter the market. The fact that we have formed a bit of a double bottom here and we're seeing a very strong impulse to the upside breaking through this counter trend line is a bit of a red flag for the sellers to me as well. The sellers were very consistent with the lower highs past couple of weeks as we were steadily pushing down, but as we now smash into support, we've kind of broken through that structure, broken through that trend line, and things are looking very bullish with those two big bullish candles there. So I do think there's a lot more upside to be had with dollar CAD. I think in terms of the shorts from 1.378, which is this level here, I think that makes sense because we're coming back to a big level. Price might have had a big enough pullback to see some downside. So I think that's a smart kind of outlook to have for dollar CAD in terms of the shorts. Shorting around there. I wouldn't short from current price. Depends where your stop loss is going to be. But we are looking fairly bullish. We've just had a break of that counter trend line. Most of the time we'll probably see some more upside here. So the current price might be a bit aggressive. I'm sure you have your reasons, so I won't talk you out of it. But of course, I'm just sharing my thoughts. I think there is a likelihood there's a good likelihood of more upside at the moment. I think shorts would make a lot more sense at 1.378, and then we'll see how price reacts and we'll go from there. But for now, I'm looking at this as somewhat of a double bottom, strong break of the counter trend line. I do think we can see more upside. I think intraday buys look pretty good. If the market can pull back, maybe retest this level or retest this level, I think those are smart places for some buys, especially from intraday bias. Yeah, I do think more upside is likely for dollar CAD, especially if USD does gain strength as well, which looks like it's starting to. DXY is starting to push up. So if that does continue, then that should take dollar CAD higher up as well. So I'll be careful for shorts on current price, but that 1.378 level makes a bit more sense to me. Okay, 1.34. Okay, makes sense. 1.34. Okay, yeah, that would be. Is that the low? Is that the low over here? Yeah, roughly. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense as well. We could very much go and hit those levels as well. I think if you're looking to short there, still makes sense. There's still momentum in the market. I think if you're looking to short for that move, I would wait for 1.378. It's a better place for a stop loss away from the noise. Probably momentum probably die out by then as well. And I think you probably got a more realistic chance of capitalizing on a big swing from that zone. So I can still see price getting there. But yeah, I would wait for your kind of more second entry personally. But I can see the reasoning, but we'll see what USD does over the next few days, because if the DXY looks like it's about to reverse, could be a bit difficult to expect another big move for dollar CAD to the downside, that is. Anyway, I'll go through some setups I'm looking at for this week. We'll take a look at BTC as well. We'll go for US30 on the 15-minute for Nathaniel. BTC 1 hour to the 15. Okay, we'll go through those time frames as well. Okay, 6-month candle. I haven't actually looked at the 6-month candle. I looked at the quarterly. I haven't looked at the 6-month. But yeah, I would imagine it would be very, very bearish, because we've just been falling since the start of the year. Pretty much since mid-Jan, USD's been tanking. So I can imagine it's looking absolutely huge. In fact, I'm quite interested to see how it does look. Yeah, that is a huge candle. Very, very bearish. Closed with minimal wick as well. But yeah, I do agree as well. I do think even despite that candle, we could still see some upside. It might not present us with another big 6-month candle to the upside. It might just be a bit of a pullback, maybe even to come back and retest some lows here. And maybe the bigger move for the dollar is still to the downside. But I do think, again, a move like this could last a month or two, provide a bit of an upper wick for the next 6-month candle. Then maybe the remaining 3 months or 4 months of the year, we continue bearish maybe. But yeah, I do think we can still see a bounce to the upside. But yeah, that was a very kind of significant candle. That could be quite significant in terms of our direction. But yeah, I do think we are due a pullback, but perhaps the bigger move is still with the sellers. Okay, so let's go through some of the pairs on my watch list. We'll take a look at BTC as well. We'll go for US30. No problem, Lonely Soul, happy to help. Jay Gold, we'll take a look, no problem. Happy to help, Malik, happy to help. So yeah, pairs I'm looking at. I'm still keeping a close eye on Euro Aussie. We did have a very strong move to the upside for Euro Aussie, which has made things interesting, because I'm looking to short this move. I'm basically treating this move here as a pullback of that. I'm looking for more downside. Potentially the trend is continuing, and potentially we are going to push back to highs. If that's the case, then I would just expect this to kind of pick up in terms of momentum and still see some higher highs and higher lows. But I'm looking for signs that this isn't the case. I'm looking for signs that we aren't pushing higher and we are still getting ready for a drop. We have just now smacked into the 0.618. But from what I'm gauging in the lower time frames, momentum just picked up very, quite substantially for the buyers here. And now, of course, this has turned into a healthy area of support. And if we stay corrective on the way down, perhaps we just continue and I stay away from any shorting opportunities. But should I see price kind of push down hard, maybe give us the characteristic of a fake out, I'll be very interested to try and pluck some highs and take some shorts here, because I'm still very keen on the push to this low. Not really seeing signs for a short right now. We were looking very fatigued last week, but of course with this newfound momentum, I need to be patient, I need to be cautious and not just jump into the market because I have a bearish bias, because of course I could be wrong with that bias. Maybe the market is going to push higher, and at the moment probably are. So I need to see some very strong signs of some selling opportunities coming into the market, some really strong momentum pushing down, and then yes, I can be looking to try and short this one. But at the moment it's a healthy breakout. We could see a lot more upside off the back of this, so I have to be careful. And in terms of the yen pairs, I'm keeping a close eye on CAD yen. I like the idea of shorting this one. I need to kind of keep an eye on what the yen does, but the way I see it is that the market's had a big push down. This could be a pullback of that bearish leg, and perhaps we're getting ready to topple out to see another push into the low. So I'm looking to try and see if I can call the high in this area. We're already approaching the 0.618. I'm looking to see if we can get another push back into highs, maybe another strong rejection off the back of that. That might be enough for an entry. It really depends how price gets then, how it reacts, whether the entry is good and it's enough for me to take a trade. or maybe we just see momentum and price has a really big breakout. If that's the case, then I'll back away. Perhaps more upside is likely. So it really depends what we do at that level, and that would justify the trade or not. But for CAD Yen, I am interested in some shorting opportunities, looking for the pullback of this leg and a move lower. Funnily enough, I do have a very opposite bias for Euro Yen, which is another yen pair, which is a big contradiction because yen pairs do tend to move in the same direction. So if I'm shorting CAD Yen, most of the time I should be looking to short Euro Yen and vice versa. But I don't mind it because Euro Yen looks very bullish to me. It's a very clean breakout of the high here. To me, it looks like Euro Yen could be looking to make a move back to highs here. So I would like to find a pullback of this move to buy and follow that to the upside. I don't mind it because it's kind of like a hedge almost. Because one of these biases is going to be right. The yen pairs are either going to push up together or they're going to push down together. So either Euro Yen, my bias is going to be correct for a push back to the high, or CAD Yen, my bias is going to be correct for a push into the low. I don't know which one it will be until everything is said and done. But I know if I can find a decent pullback there for Euro Yen, I'll be more than happy to find some buys. And I know if I can find some nice entries for some CAD Yen, I'll be more than happy to take some shorts. Again, managing risk with every trade, but the idea is that if I can have a decent risk reward, if I can just find the winner, that would be great, especially with the opportunity on our hands with both yen pairs, because there's some big targets to aim for. But yeah, Euro Yen, very clean break to the upside, looking for a pullback. In terms of where, I like this brief pause here in the market, especially lines up with the resistance here, which will be turn support as well. So I'm looking to see if we can get a retest of that area. I also like the area over here as well. Can refine that to just pretty much focus on the high here. But again, I need to see a pretty big pullback. We're quite far from these areas. That could take us at least a couple of weeks to get there. I'm looking at Euro Yen now. We are looking pretty corrective. So to me, it looks like the market's starting to lose steam. And perhaps we are getting ready for a bit of a downturn. So yeah, Euro Yen, bullish on this one. More upside, it looks likely at the moment. 175.406 is the longer term target. There's still a long way to go before we get there. So I think the buying opportunities for now look really, really good. But likewise for CAD Yen, the shorts look good there as well. So going to keep a close eye on that. In terms of the USD pairs, so as I mentioned, well, dollar CAD was on the watch list, but I think that's left me behind. So I still think there could be some nice opportunities in the lower time frames, some pullbacks there, but that's not really what I'm looking for, especially on the 4 hour time frame. So this was on the watch list coming into the week, but now that we've got this move, I think I'll probably take it off for myself just because I've missed the entry and it looks likely that price is going to continue now. So yeah, dollar CAD's kind of going to back away off a little bit for that one now. I'm still keeping an eye on Aussie CHF. I did get taken out for a loss for this one after this bearish move here. I did hop into some buys after price swept the lows here, and I was looking to see if now price could rally. Had a very short rally before price did turn against me, so I ended up getting taken out for that position for a loss. I also closed my pound Aussie trade. Momentum shifted against me and price started to break through this zone. So I did end up closing the trade around about here somewhere. So not the full risk reward. I think it was like a 1 to 4.5 into there, but I think I closed it around here. So a little bit more than a 1 to 1, I think. But yeah, momentum did shift against me. Not liking the way price was reacting with that. So I did pull the plug on that trade. And it looks like Aussie is quite weak at the moment as well. So I'm going to keep a close eye on pound Aussie because I feel like whichever way price is going to break out, there's probably going to be a very nice opportunity. Treating this as a range, I pretty much just shorted the high of the range a couple of weeks ago. Well, it looks like we're going to approach the high again. Will I look for another entry? I'm not too sure. The fact that we haven't sold off already is a bit of a red flag to me. So I think I'll just play it safe and just monitor how price moves. If I do see a strong break to the upside, great. I'll look for some pullbacks and some buying opportunities off the back of that and see if I can trade it back into the high. Maybe if there's a very strong rejection, maybe I do entertain the sells, but I think I might even wait just for us to clear the lows here and try and gain some pullbacks after that. But we'll see how that does develop. I like pound NZD as well. Pretty much the same situation as well. Nice consolidation, seeing which way we're going to break out. If it's to the upside, there could be some very nice pullback opportunities on the way back to highs. And likewise to the downside as well. There could be a very nice counter or reversal opportunity to trade there too. So waiting for some break opportunities there. Other CHF pairs, not really, just Aussie CHF I'll keep an eye on. USD pairs, well, Aussie dollar's already made the move, so that's kind of crossed off the list now. Crossed off the list. Same with dollar CAD as well. But I quite like the yen pairs. CAD yen looks good. Euro yen looks good. Yeah, that's about it in terms of the swing. I have been eyeing up like Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. I think there could be some nice shorting opportunities for them. But I kind of want to see a little bit more of a pullback. Because again, what I'm looking at is a massive bearish leg here. I'm kind of wanting to see a bit more upside before I do entertain some shorts. We are very corrective right now, but I'm not really seeing a quality setup to get involved. So being patient. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of setups. I'm keeping a close eye on. We'll go through US 30 and then we'll take a look at BTC afterwards. We'll go through gold as well. Okay, nice. Good to see we're on the same page. Yeah, also eyeing up that EJ trade. Yeah, I think Euro yen looks really good. But just need some pullbacks. A lot of momentum right now for US, not US 30. Got US 30 in the brain. A lot of momentum for Euro yen. Very big up move. We're kind of gliding. Did we just have another big move there for US 30? Yeah, we did. I literally had a look at this one at the start of the stream. I think we were trading around here, and then suddenly, boom, a big push up. So it looks like US 30 is on a mission to go and take out the highs now. I'm not too sure we'll get that pullback. I literally just said this morning would be nice if the market go fill the gap, come back and retest the lows, and we can look for buying opportunities off the back of that. But with this close, it looks like price is probably not going to go fill the gap, at least not now anyway. I think we will eventually fill the gap, but we probably might go through the highs first. But yeah, we're looking pretty bullish now. Of course, you've got the all-time highs there for US 30. That's still the likely place price is going to push towards. So still looking for a lot more upside there for US 30. I think this is still a nice place for a buy, but I don't know, I'm gauging momentum now. I find it difficult to see price coming back to retest this area unless there's a very big sell-off, which probably don't want to buy anyway. So yeah, US 30 is looking very bullish. Perhaps we might break and retest above this area. That could be like a last ditch opportunity on the lower time frames. But the way I see it, yeah, very bullish onwards and upwards. So yeah, keep an eye on a break and retest, but that's the best we can probably get. Ideally, a fill of that gap, retest lows would be nice, but I just don't see that happening, especially after that last 4-hour candle closure. In terms of BTC has been interesting. I've been looking at how price has been moving within this bearish channel. At one point, we got a clean breakout. I was like, okay, price is going to rally back to highs now, but then the breakout kind of stuttered a little bit. It looks like perhaps we're having a retest, maybe. So I've been looking at this channel here. Price had a lovely rejection last week, nice push down, but it only lasted for about a quarter of that move before we did reverse. We ended up breaking to the upside. Then we ended up coming back below. So I was like, I'm not too sure if price is breaking out or is having a big fake out. So I said, I want to see a bit more momentum and price clear the highs. If this is well and truly a breakout, this could just be a retest of the high of the trend line, and a break of the highs will confirm to us that, okay, the trend is up. We're likely to keep pushing higher. So pullbacks, retest will make a load of sense after that. But yeah, I'm not too sure. We could still bleed to the downside. We could still bleed back into the channel and things get quite awkward again. This will become a fake out, and I'm expecting a pretty big move back into support at that point. So yeah, with BTC, you need a bit more information. If we're gonna continue higher, I want to see these highs taken out. and then buys afterwards will make sense. If we are going to sell off and this is just price faking the high of the channel, you've got these two prior lower highs here. I was looking for the third one in that area. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But if this just is a bit of a fake out, let's see if we can get back inside retest, find some entries off the back of that, and then we've got some targets back into the low. And that would make a lot of sense in terms of the shorting opportunities. Like I said, if we're looking to buy, let's see if we can break the highs first and look for some retest. But BTC I can see going either way. It's just about how we operate in this area. Right now, I'm not necessarily leaning one way or another. If I had to, I'd probably lean with the buyers because it looks like we are retesting the channel there. So I would favor us to break higher, but not until I see the breakout happen. And then yes, I can get excited because we've got the evidence we're looking for. Now it's our time to strike on some pullbacks. At the moment, we could still very much fall in. But yeah, BTC has been quite awkward, still kind of stalling at highs a little bit, but I am looking for a lot more upside if we can continue that uptrend. And if we do break back in, we've got some lovely targets to aim for anyway. So either direction, I think things look interesting. Let me look at the lower time frames. You just say hourly to the 15. Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of logic really, to be honest. Because if this trend is going to continue, I would want to see evidence of us breaking the highs. And then, yeah, on the hourly / 15-minute chart, we can look for some pullbacks and some buying opportunities off the back of that. So, same logic applies. If we're going to continue, let's keep pushing. Perhaps let's find a pullback somewhere, retest some structure, find some entries off the back of that, and take a bunch of momentum. But still very, very slow, struggling to break highs. I would refrain from getting into any entries until price can really show us the direction. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on BTC. Okay, so next up we'll take a look at gold. What's up, Menchi? Aussie yen, New Zealand yen. Yes, we'll take a look at those as well, no problem. Or even long at 169.90 for a move aggressive trade. Yeah, I'm not necessarily looking to buy high. I always like buying at a bit of a discount. You've got an uptrend. The logic is, if you've got an uptrend, everyone can spot the uptrend. Everyone can spot that the market is bullish. You've got kind of two people at play. People trying to continue the trade, continue the trend, or you've got people trying to short the trend. And there's opportunities always, there's opportunities everywhere. But I like it when we've got an uptrend and now price is having a pullback. And we're getting to that stage where people are like, is it a pullback or is it a reversal? That's the time where I want to be trying to buy to look to try and continue the trend. Because then you have people probably getting stopped out of some early longs and some people probably get into some late shorts as well. And that's kind of the idea of where I want to buy and take advantage of those dips and then follow the larger trend. So I always like waiting for the bit deeper pullback, especially in the FX, because FX you predominantly get the deeper pullbacks most of the time. Of course, you do get shallow pullbacks as well. You get a wide range of pullbacks, but in FX, quite a lot of the time you get some deep pullbacks and more complex pullbacks as well, which is not as common in the indices. They do have their moments where they do have those 30-40% pullbacks, of course, but that's a bit more violent when it does happen and less frequent, of course. But the nature of FX is always chopping around up and down, never kind of going on a trend for too long. So that's why I don't really like the aggressive trade. But if you are going to take the aggressive trade, my tip would be have very kind of aggressive targets. Not aggressive is probably not the right word, but not have crazy targets, because what some people will do is you see an uptrend that's going on for a while, very, very aggressive. They'll still buy at the highs, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, because you're anticipating that momentum is strong and it's likely to continue, which at any given point that is true. The likelihood of price just turning on a dime is quite unlikely. So buying high in a very bullish market makes sense, but you're not going to have a huge target. Because the chances are prices is going to have a bigger pullback at some point before it even does get to that huge target. So what you will find is that you take these trades, momentum will go in your favor because momentum is in your favor. but you'll probably end up getting taken at break even or take some unnecessary losses because your target was too big. And you have to look at the situation. You've been in an uptrend for a while. Yes, the uptrend can still continue, and probably likely is, but if you're going to have big targets, be prepared for big pullbacks, because at some stage that is going to happen. So you need to manage it accordingly. But yeah, I always prefer the deeper pullbacks. But nothing wrong with the aggressive ones, just manage it accordingly. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream, my man. I hope you are well. Please recap dollar CAD, dollar CHF, no problem. If done before or after requested pairs, yeah, no worries. I'll go for dollar CAD, dollar CHF. I haven't actually looked at dollar CHF yet today, so definitely want to go take a look at that pair. But where was I? So I'll go through New Zealand yen, Aussie yen, and gold. Then we go through the pairs you requested. No problem. Happy to help. And Aussie CAD, yes, we'll take a look at that as well. Haven't looked at that one today yet. Yusuf, my man, hope you're well. Good morning, good morning. I'm doing good, thank you. Hope you're well too. So in terms of gold, I've surrendered to gold. The price action is just kind of very, very choppy. Myself, I'm kind of staying away from the price action. The way I view gold right now is a big range. Yes, there'll be kind of intraday opportunities in between all this fluctuation. So I'll keep it short and sweet with gold. Finding some nice areas to buy from, but not necessarily looking for the big trade, because the market has been consolidating for about a couple of months now. And I would expect it to continue to consolidate until proven otherwise, really. So until we get that big breakout. Yes, overall, the trend for gold is still very much bullish. We're still exponentially heading to the upside. So I think buys overall make sense. But you can see the conditions are starting to shift. We are starting to pause, so you want to be a bit more cautious now. I do like the buys here, which does kind of form somewhat of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. So you've got the left shoulder here, you've got the head over there, you've got the right shoulder there. And of course, that would be your neckline. So something like this. And I would argue some entries in that area look good, retesting price support. And that's a realistic area where the right shoulder could form. And a nice continuation. So I like the buys here. As I drop to the hourly chart, I'm seeing price become a bit more corrective, which shows that we're slowing down, starting to find support, and perhaps we are getting ready for a buy and a big push higher. So I would keep an eye out for some entries there, particularly on the hourly chart. I think it makes sense, kind of just waiting for momentum to really enter the market before finding an entry. But it's a smart place for a buy, smart place for a stop loss as well. But again, I'll keep it short and sweet. If you can get a rally back to resistance here, probably call it a day there. Take majority of the profits, and probably, if you want, leave a small position to run. Maybe we do continue back to highs, but I'll keep it relatively simple, because we are just fluctuating, and the chances are we do find resistance and we do come straight back down. So be careful with gold. Conditions aren't great right now. We'll go take a look at Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. So with these two, again, very similar pairs. Aussie NZD, very similar, of course, both partnered up with the yen. Aussie yen's been on a very slow grind higher. Not quite resistance yet, I don't think. Haven't quite made it back to the highs yet, so I do think there's still a bit more upside on the table. What would be nice for Aussie yen is if we were to kind of break to the downside. Something like this, a nice push down, and then form another high low and push back up again. Maybe coming back into a nice area of demand. We've got somewhat of a trend line here connecting the higher lows. I think that'd be a very smart trade, because I can imagine lots of buyers and sellers kind of battling out inside this range in that corrective channel. If price can break through all of that, take out some stop losses, fresh liquidity, tap into a more healthy area to buy from, not only are you increasing your risk to reward, but you're entering away from all the noise. This is where all the noise is. Entering here means you're away from all the noise. You're entering where people are putting their stop losses. Anyone buying here, stop losses are all across here. So you're entering where stop losses are being placed, and you're positioning yourself better for a bigger swing as well. So I think waiting for price to come a little bit deeper. If we come deeper, of course, we may not do that. But I think that would be the smart place for a buy. And yeah, targets back to resistance. I think price is likely to break through this level as well. the way I see it, we've had a very big anticlimactic sell-off and price is kind of recovering. I'm looking at this as a big bearish leg, and I think we can have a bigger retracement, maybe back into the 0.618, maybe even back into the 0.786 as well. So I think there's a lot of upside on the cards here for Aussie yen. So the buys do make sense to me. But yeah, I'll keep it, I'll stay patient with this. Not a big fan of the buys in there, but should we see a deeper pullback, I think the buys make a load of sense further down. New Zealand yen, kind of the same characteristic, but I definitely do prefer Aussie yen on the buy. You can see we are fairly corrective as well, but again, the same idea. If price was to slightly push down, take out some of these lows, maybe come back and retest support around here, I think that again will be a smart place for a buy. But you can see we are starting to tire. We are taking out highs here only just. But we are becoming quite corrective now, so a buy off here looks good. I wouldn't look to try and take it past resistance because this is proving to be a solid level. I do think for the bigger move for New Zealand yen, we could be coming back down into these lows eventually. I am looking at this bullish move as a pullback of this bearish leg. So I think eventually we will top out and come back down, but that's more of a move we can speak about in the next coming weeks. Right now, I wouldn't say the market's quite ready yet to be sold for that big move. So longs look good. Again, waiting for price to get to that value, that area of value where we're away from the noise, away from the congestion of buyers and sellers in that area. We're entering where people are putting their stops essentially. And again, risk reward would be a much better proposition when you're entering at lower prices. And you're kind of away from all the noise as well. So looking for a deeper pullback there for Aussie yen, for New Zealand yen. I like Aussie yen's a bit cleaner. But again, they're very similar pairs, so I would expect similar behaviors. But for now, still just about bullish on both of them. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. We'll go through dollar CAD, then dollar CHF, and Aussie CAD for Anne. In terms of the pair, it is on the screen in the center. So you got the pair and the time frame there as well. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. Yusuf, UJ, and GJ, I'm zooming 50-minute time frame as well. For that, if not, let me know. Menchi, happy to help. Okay, so dollar CAD, dollar CHF. So with dollar CAD, the plan this week was looking for some buying opportunities, but I feel like I've missed out on that. We've started off the week very, very bullish. I was looking for a double bottom off this low. Price was very, very corrective on the way down. I was looking for us to maybe wick through the low first and then see a strong reaction. But pretty much as I woke up this morning, price is already breaking out of this counter trend line and already looking very, very bullish. The plan this week was looking for dollar CAD to see some upside. We had price coming back into a very strong area of demand. You can see we consolidated here for a few days before a very strong break to the upside. You can see price is testing that area there again. So the plan was potentially we might see a bit of a double bottom form and then see a reaction and price go higher. And that looks like essentially what price has done. And we're seeing a very strong reaction off that. This is the target for the week, 1.378. So that's kind of where I'm expecting price to get to. And now that we have seen the break, I think the only opportunities are going to be available in the lower time frames. Looking for some quicker pullbacks, maybe a retest of the high here, maybe a retest of this breakout of that high. So kind of looking at these areas for some buying opportunities. But the expectation for dollar yen is dollar CAD, is a push back to resistance. So just looking to buy low, wait for that pullback to be finished, and then keep following that to the upside. Especially with the strong break of this counter trend line, I think that really shows dollar CAD's intentions, and especially with the DXY looking like it's starting to come bullish as well. If the DXY is going to be bullish, that should help dollar CAD, fly and see a lot more upside. Dollar CHF has been very bearish for quite a while. I do think again, market's running out of steam and the pullback is due. You've just come into contact with a big monthly level of support here. You can see last time we were here, big piercing wick through the zone, massive reversal. I think we can be seeing some buyers into the market and a bit of a reaction there for dollar CHF. So I'm interested in the upside here for dollar Swiss. I did mark out this level as an area to keep a close eye for some shorts. My only kind of caveat to that is I'm not expecting a big move. Yes, the market has been bearish. Yes, been very consistent with lower highs. But we are quite stretched. We're hit to monthly levels. We've been selling off since the start of the year. I think we're overextended. The market is pretty corrective as well. We're showing signs of fatigue. So with all of that said, I wouldn't be looking for any kind of big selling opportunities for dollar CHF because I feel like we're coming close to the end of the trend. So shorts still look good because momentum's still down, the trend's still down, yes. And we still got lovely levels like this, which look good for some shorting opportunities. But I would be very careful in terms of looking to short for a big move. I think this is a sensible place to short, but maybe for 1 or 2 days, I wouldn't be as confident that we do get back down here. My expectation for dollar CHF is that we are going to break above this at some point. There might be some nice buys to follow afterwards because that's where I do think the bigger move will be. So this is really what I'm waiting for dollar CHF. Some bullish structure to start to pan out and then some buying opportunities off the back of that. There might be some shorts here, maybe for a couple of days, like I said, some nice intraday moves. But I do think the bigger move is to the upside. So dollar CHF at the moment is still bearish. I'm looking for a lot more upside with this pair. Not ready yet. In terms of that bigger swing, shorts still look good, still valid, very much so, heading back into that zone. But like I said, I'm not expecting a big sell-off here for dollar CHF. We've been falling for quite a while. We are quite stretched, so I would be cautious of that. There's nothing wrong with looking for a move back into lows here. Again, I'm not a fortune teller. Maybe price is going to have a big sell-off back to lows, and maybe we do go and break through them and go a lot further. So that could happen as well. But I would keep a close eye when managing the trade and look out for red flags. And yeah, that could be a sign to get out early. But yeah, dollar CHF, there is definitely a level of interest, 0.80382, where there could be some nice selling opportunities. In terms of Aussie CAD, so I'll go for Aussie CAD. Okay, on the 15, yeah, I'll go for Aussie CAD, UJ, GJ in the 15 as well. I appreciate that, Malik. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. I do really appreciate that, guys. Also, check out the Zentrix Telegram channel if you haven't done so already. I did drop it in the chat earlier, but I can drop it again. If you are interested to learn more about AI and how that could help improve your trading, you know, how could you utilize it in terms of developing automated trading bots, strategy development, tweaking a strategy, refining it, learning how to kind of digest fundamentals into trade signals potentially, and a lot more. Do check it out. There's more information there about Zentrix and updates on the launch as well. We are looking for people to go and test the platform. So if you are interested, head over to the Telegram. There's a link there for an application form. You can fill that out, have your Solana wallets ready because you will need that to access the platform. But if you are interested, go and have a look-see. But anyway, we'll go through Aussie CAD, I believe, next. If I do miss out a pair for someone, let me know. But Aussie CAD, bearish. Not expecting that, to be honest. I was looking for Aussie CAD to rally back to highs ever since we formed that double bottom. I was like, okay, I'm expecting Aussie CAD to come back into highs now. Not quite the situation. I mean, we got about 80% of the way, so yeah, nothing's always going to be completely perfect here, but a very, very nice rally there. Not quite hitting my expectation, but we are looking a little bit bearish at the moment right now. So Aussie CAD, I wouldn't do anything really. The way I see it, price is being very corrective on the way down. We did break structure here. Possibly, are we going to form a higher low and start to rally again? Maybe. I think the safe place to get involved would be still at the lows here. See if price can get there again. I think that would be a smart place for a buy. Maybe not for a huge swing, but again, maybe for a day or two. Catch a nice buy there. You know, pay yourself along the way and see what happens. Maybe do continue to rally back to highs. I still think price is likely to push there. But if we do end up just putting a lower high in, then maybe price continues to go lower, we can still profit on this move. Just because price doesn't go and hit a big target doesn't mean we can't make money from a move. It just means maybe we don't make the optimal amount. So I think this is still a smart place for a buy. I think right now, kind of trading in the middle of nowhere a little bit, so I would refrain from entering any entries right now. I'm not really seeing any confluence in that area. The reason why I like this low here as well is because that's where we kind of put the double bottom in before the strong move up. Price is coming into this region where we did put a massive low in here for a big rally. So I like the idea of price coming back here and bouncing. A lot of wicks on the weekly chart as well. And I think that naturally, if we are going to be bullish, it's probably going to be from this area. So I like the buys below us here, around 0.88, big psychological level as well. I think at least a bounce at that level, so we can look to profit from that. And then we'll go from there. But we had that break of structure. My expectation for Aussie CAD was, okay, we put a double bottom here and we broke structure. Now I'm expecting maybe a pullback and then some upside. But if we do keep falling, maybe we don't get up to that resistance again. But this to me still looks like a smart place for a buy. Okay, take care, Malik. Have a good one, man. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for tagging along. Lighton, no problem. Happy to help. Yeah, agree. Let's see what happens next. Yeah. Again, a lot of trading is just seeing what's happening and reacting to it. People confuse trading with predicting, or predicting really. Trading is not necessarily predicting; it's more reactionary. You can have your predictions, you can have your expectations, but trading is necessarily not about that, because you could predict a market to go up, but it might go down, and you might still find an opportunity to take advantage of it going down. So even having the wrong prediction, you could still make a profit. Even price going the opposite way against you, because you recognize that, you find an opportunity to trade that, you profit from it, you exit the trade. So despite your bias, you still made money. So trading is all about reacting to what the market is giving you. Of course, you want to have that natural bias, because that will help kind of filter out some maybe poor quality trades. But you want to react to what the market is giving you. Maybe your bias isn't making sense anymore. Be able to pivot with that and be able to trade in the opposite direction, especially in FX, where you can go both ways and it makes sense to. Of course, indices, they tend to go up most of the time. So focusing predominantly on buys makes sense. But in the FX world, you want to be flexible. Okay, so let's go for UJ and GJ in the 15. So yeah, not a big fan of UJ, I have to say. Very, very choppy behavior. Someone asked about UJ early in the stream, and I just said it's just basically ranging. Not too much to comment on inside this range here, because it's just ranging really. Waiting for price to kind of break out of this and just be done with this noise, and then hopefully we can get some consistency in terms of a trend, up or down. Not too bold, because again, opportunities on both sides, but just not really looking to engage in this kind of area. In terms of the 15-minute chart, I can imagine we're looking pretty bullish there. Nice push up. It looks like we have reversed this bearish trend here, and now we're starting to put higher highs and higher lows. So perhaps we're going to continue to rally back to resistance there. So maybe if there's a short-term pullback, there might be some nice buys to trade it back into resistance. But again, I wouldn't look for any sustained move here on the 15. I think that's about it in terms of where I'll take it to, just because, again, we've got that fluctuation. Price might want to reverse again and go back lower. So be prepared for that as we do approach resistance around 145.8. But what I can see is that this bearish structure has ended. Now price has been putting in some nice bullish structure. If I was trading on the 15, I'll try and follow that back to this level here, and then we'll go from there. A pullback would look nice to retest this range here. Lovely little consolidation. Price spat a lot of momentum there to the upside. So that would be my preferred area, but we might not have a pullback that big. I think keep an eye out for like a double bottom. Create support, test it again. That could be a smart place for a long. Another higher low. And then hopefully take the swing back into resistance. But yeah, for the 50-minute chart, bearish for a while, bullish, now approaching resistance. If we can trade it there, I think that would be a smart trade. In terms of the bigger picture, very, very flat. So watch out as we do approach resistance, because we very much could respect that level and come straight back down. In terms of GJ, we said, yeah, GJ. So pound yen still pretty, I mean, pound yen's been climbing, to be honest. This one's a lot better than pound yen because at least we have a nice consistent trend to it. Again, this one did break structure last week, and we were talking about some buying opportunities. I talked about a couple areas. I said this area could be one, and also this range below us could be an area to look out for as well. You can see price predominantly focused more on this area, did slightly dip below, but the way I see it, it just formed a double bottom here really. You got support there, price rallied, retested the support, dipped below slightly, which is a common theme with double bottoms. Double bottoms are not always just on the pip. You know, we'll slightly dip below sometimes, like we did here. But essentially, we've respected that area. Now we're looking very bullish. And again, in terms of expectations for pound yen, it would be a rally back to resistance. In terms of the 4-hour swing, I think we can push to just shy of 200. This high over there. In fact, you'll see it better on the daily chart. So basically looking for price to return back into resistance over there. 199.6 would be my bet. So dropping to the 15, we've got some targets to work with. A nice buy opportunity here could be the retest of this range here. We had some structure, low, high, low, of course a new high. So this could be a nice place for an entry. Perhaps even the 5-minute chart even as well. Some entries down the 5-minute could make sense. But I think that's a nice area for a buy. And then, of course, targets back into resistance, which is this level here, 198. Can make a lot of sense. And then, of course, maybe leave positions to run into 199.6. But, yeah, lovely bullish structure. The bearish trend is over. We broke structure there last week. So the plan has been looking to follow this to the upside. Beautiful setup there. Now we're seeing continuation to go higher. I'd wait for a pullback, a retest, maybe even some entries in the 5-minute, like I said, just to really maximize risk reward, but not essential. Then yeah, a push back to 198.6 would be my bet. So pretty bullish intraday pound yen. I actually quite like the setup of pound yen. Dollar yen looks good, but I think pound yen looks a lot better, especially because with pound yen, there's of course that natural uptrend we have. You know, price is very consistent with these high lows on the 4-hour. So not only is the 15-minute giving us a nice bullish setup, but also the 4-hour chart is agreeing with that with this uptrend. Compared to dollar yen, where things are very flat, you know, we do have some bullish structure here, which we just talked about, which we could look to follow, but the overall kind of trend and direction, you know, is very sideways, or you could even argue it's been to the downside. So there's a bit of a contradiction there with dollar yen. So GJ compared to dollar yen, in terms of the technicals, you know, the technicals make a lot more sense on GJ, so I'll probably just focus with that one. But they're similar pairs. If yen's going to be weak, they probably both do rally, but I think pound to me looks like the better one on paper. But we'll see. Maybe we do expect a USD, some strength in the USD, which could make things interesting. But pound yen looks really good to me. So hopefully that made sense. If I feel like I missed out a pair, but I'm not too sure. I looked at gold, didn't I? Yeah, I did look at gold. And no problem, happy to help. Eugene, Euro Yen, okay, we'll take a look as well. German, interested. Interested in what? Not too sure what you mean there. But yeah, in terms of Euro Yen, as I mentioned with this one previously, I actually like the price action quite a lot with Euro Yen. This is a pair on my watch list. So I'm keeping a very close eye on this one. It's been a very big breakout. Price has cleared resistance here at 166.6. I'm looking to see if we're going to rally back to highs here at 175.4. So the plan here with Euro Yen is looking for pullbacks essentially, because we've broken through one high. Now the expectation is to push to the next high. And if we can find a pullback on the way, that would be great. And then I can trade that back into this high and then hopefully back into this high. I'll probably take most of my profits here because there's a long way to go. I'm not looking to try and take advantage of the full move, because that would be about 800, almost 900 pips. I'm not really looking to try and take advantage of 900 pips. If I can take advantage of half, that would be a great move. So yeah, I'll probably take most of my profits at the high, but the plan would be, okay, I'm positioned well, leave positions to run. You know, there's a good chance we do get back to highs there. Let's see if we can take advantage of that as well. But the key thing is a pullback. We're still bullish at the moment. We haven't had a pullback yet. I think we will. I'm looking at the lower time frames, especially the 4 hour. We're looking quite corrective at the moment. So the way I see it, we're probably likely to see some downside pretty soon. When we are moving corrective like this, it's normally a sign that the market's running out of steam, and I'm expecting price to push down. A good example of this is Aussie dollar. You can see how Aussie dollar's been moving, now starting to bleed, starting to break lower. Hasn't really broke out the channel yet, but I think we'll like to see that over the next couple of days. And I would expect Euro Yen to do the same, just on a very smaller scale. So yeah, Euro Yen looking for some pullbacks as well. Basically looking to enter around 167. I do have this level here as well, 165, which I like the look of as well if the pullback's a bit deeper than expected. But that's where I'm looking to buy from, and then long-term targets back at 175. So very, very much interested in the buys, not really interested in the shorts at all, to be honest. Some people always ask, you know, if you do have a long-term bias in terms of the bigger up move, you know, why don't you short the pullback and then buy the dip and buy the pullback? The reason why I don't do that is because, number one, my edge isn't in the pullback. It's in, well, my edge is in buying the pullback. But my edge isn't necessarily anticipating where the pullback's going to happen, because it could happen now, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, or it might not happen at all. So my edge is not necessarily anticipating a pullback. My edge is always buying the pullback, where that dip is, where that value is, where the discount is. Because again, the pullback might not always happen or as deep as I expect it to happen as well. My edge is always in the pullback. So I'm never really trying to call the top on a market unless I've got a lot of confidences going for me to back that up. Sometimes I will go aggressive and take some counter trend moves, but only in certain conditions, and those conditions are definitely not met right now. So keeping a very close eye on the buys for Euro Yen. This is one of the yen pairs which I do like the long-term buys for. Other yen pairs, I'm kind of a little bit mixed. CAD yen, I'm actually looking to short. I've spoken this briefly earlier, but CAD yen, I'm actually pretty short bias, which is a big contradiction in terms of my bias with Euro Yen, because Euro Yen, I'm looking for a big buy, but CAD yen, I'm looking for a sell. And predominantly speaking, CAD yen and Euro Yen, they do the same thing most of the time. 8 times out of 10, they're seeing the big swing together. So my thinking is that I'm probably wrong on one of these and right on another. Which one? I don't know. But again, waiting for entries, waiting for confirmations. Those should help me avoid any poor setups that do form. But yeah, I'm just going to wait to see how they develop. But the way I look at CAD yen, we're very corrective on the way up. So I can't be looking to find buy opportunities in this instance. It's a very corrective move. Typically, when things are corrective like this, most of the time we do head lower. So that is really what my thinking is here with CAD yen. Lovely down move, looking for a lower high, then a push back into these lows, and probably some new lows after that as well. But yeah, not quite ready for some entries just yet. I think if we can get another drive back into resistance, then things can look interesting beyond that. But for the most part, not really seeing much opportunity just yet. Yusuf, okay, G and Euro, no problem. We'll take a look. Mutual, I'm not sure what you mean with those zeros there. What's up, Michael? Appreciate it. Hope you're well. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the bell as well. It keeps you in the loop of things so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, I do really appreciate everyone who has liked the stream so far. It does really help out, promotes the channel a lot more, and of course subscribe as well. Yeah, do really appreciate that, guys. Alex, good morning, my man. Hope you're doing good. Hope you had a good weekend as well. I'm sure we all did, or hopefully we all did. Okay, so euro and pound. I'm guessing on the 15 as well. So Euro USD. So I'm expecting some more downside for Euro USD. It looks like price may be forming a bit of a top here, and we're running out of steam. We've talked about some pullbacks into these areas that acted very well. Nice push down. We even had another pullback into this zone. So basically just completing the pattern again. I retested the consolidation at the top of the trend. Nice push down. Another consolidation. Nice push down. Another retest. Another push down. Will we complete it again for a third time? Potentially. Another consolidation over there. Will we come back again and retest this and see another push down? Probably not though. Very rarely you see it complete 3 times in a row for a hat trick. But it's a smart place for a short. We consolidated there. Lovely break to the downside. No retest yet. So if price was to revisit there, I think that would be a smart place for a short. But my expectation is a lot more downside now for Euro USD. We're forming these lower highs here. We're seeing bearish structure come into place. I think the buys look good, but I'm waiting for a bigger pullback into 1.163. As I drop to the 4-hour chart, you can see some solid resistance over here to our left, which will return support. You got the trend line running through the market there as well. You got this lovely consolidation here there too. So I think that's a smart place for a buy. A lot of confluence there. I think naturally we could see a big push into resistance and maybe see price go a lot further as well. I'm not so keen on the big up move here for Euro USD. I think we are coming to a top where the trend is starting to run out of steam and perhaps a bigger counter trend move, bigger pullback could be on the card. So yes, I think it's a smart place for a buy. I just don't expect it to go too far. But again, just because I don't expect it to go too far doesn't mean it's not a good opportunity, because number one, I could be wrong. Maybe it does go very far. And number two, even if it doesn't go too far, it could still be worthwhile for a bounce. It still be worthwhile to profit from. Not every trade has to be a big home run for it to be successful. Some trades are the smaller trades, which makes sense, and then some trades are the bigger trades, which makes sense. Not every trade's got to be a big risk reward for it to be worthwhile. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for Euro. Consistent lower highs, expecting a lot more downside. There's a nice consolidation again, so it would be nice to retest that level again, but we'll see if that happens. But that's kind of where I'm looking for price to come into, and then we'll see what price does in this area for a buy. In terms of pound USD, so pretty much the same outlook as well. There's a big range below us here on the 4-hour chart where, again, price could push into, bounce from, maybe see some upside. Again, I'm keeping it more on the short-term side of things. I'm not looking for a big move here for pound USD. I think the market's quite stretched. We're quite overbought. Yes, this is a nice area of demand because we did consolidate here and a big drive happened. We saw a lot of momentum come from this level. We haven't yet come back for a retest either. So this is a fresh area where you could see a reaction. But again, I do expect it to be short-lived. Been talking about some shorting opportunities for pound on the retest of this range. I was looking for a deeper test, more so to come back into this area, but that wasn't the case. We're already looking pretty bearish right now. I think I'll probably keep a close eye on this zone. A nice consolidation there, strong drop lower. We might see price pull back into this zone and then have a continuation of that. So keep an eye on 1.1364 for that as well. But yeah, I do see price coming a lot lower. So pound USD, I would be looking to short, especially on the lower time frames. And I think risk reward looks good, even if you can keep it very simple. Pull back into that level, push back into the low, call it a day there. I think that makes sense too. You can always leave a bit more to run if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous. But yeah, the way I see it, very bearish right now. Consistent lower lows and lower highs. Bit more of a counter trend setup. The larger trend is up, but it makes sense based on how price is forming. So yeah, pound, more downside, maybe some buys later on, 1.35. But I like this zone a lot more. Same for euro as well. Alex, oil US30 BTC, okay, we can take a look, no problem. Lighton, I'll do like twice. I'm still trying to figure that out. Lighton, I'll let you know when I get the answer. But appreciate it, my man. But yeah, Jay, just went through pound USD. Hopefully that made sense for you. I'm looking for a big down move at some point, but kind of want to see a break of structure happen and then we can look at some shorts off the back of that. And then we can look for some reversals there as well, but a long way to go before that happens. A long way to go. At the moment, intraday shorts make the most sense. As for oil, haven't looked at oil yet today. Okay, oil. Ooh, interesting. So we had the break of the range, and we've had a retest of the range as well. So that would have been a nice entry, but it happened at a very awkward time because we had a gap down, and that would have been like 3, 4 a.m. for the buy there. So, I mean, it depends what sessions you're trading. If you're trading Asian, maybe you caught a nice retest there. If you're waking up London, prices probably starting to push away. Maybe you can still find an entry. But yeah, very, very nice retest there. So yeah, with oil, we had the breakout last week. Things were looking very bullish. That made me bullish there on oil because it was very 50-50 here. And of course, we're retesting that larger zone on the daily chart. So we've been consolidating. Then we got the break to the upside, which made me bullish. So then I said, as long as price doesn't break back within the range, as long as we can stay outside of it, which essentially is what we did. We came back for the retest and price rejected very well. I'm expecting a lot more upside here for oil. Again, if we really mean business from this area, I think we can push all the way back to these highs. So a long way to go for oil if we are going to see the fulfillment of the retest of that daily level, which I think we will. So in my book, there's a lot more upside, but I'll keep it short and sweet, especially intraday. There is this area just above us, which could be a bit of a nuisance. I'll keep an eye on that around 68. But the plan is for oil, I'm expecting a lot more upside. Maybe price does come back down for another retest. I'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we do, maybe double bottom there. That could be a nice entry to get involved. But the idea is that we've been consolidating. We've broken to the upside. Now looking for the retest. Now looking for the continuation. So very, very simple stuff here with oil. Very, very bullish. Just don't want to see us break back within the range. Then we're back to square one. But for now, oil looking for a lot more upside. US 30. So I like US 30 because we're not yet at all-time highs. We are very, very close to it. Don't get me wrong. But S&P has created all-time highs. US 100, NASDAQ has created all-time highs. US 30 hasn't. So we're kind of lagging behind the other two. And we're playing catch-up really. So, and because we're lagging behind the other two, there's a very high likelihood that US 30 is going to make new all-time highs. So that gives us a trade opportunity. We're likely to do something and we haven't done it yet. That's where opportunity lies. We haven't done that yet. So if you can take advantage of that, get into the trade, hopefully we can trade it back to the highs. At the start of the week, I was looking to see, or start of the session actually, start of the stream, we were trading around here. I said it would be nice to see price push down, maybe fill the gap, retest the lows, then find some buys off that. Since then, we've had a rally back into resistance, so it's looking a little bit more awkward now in terms of finding entries. Again, wouldn't really want to be buying into resistance, so ideally a break of that resistance and a retest would make a lot more sense. Or maybe we do push back down into lows. I think this still will be a smart place for a buy. I'm not too sure if we will, but I will definitely keep an eye on that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. So yeah, as a whole, US 30 very bullish, likely to go and take out the all-time highs, just above 45k. Whether we get the break and we test the high there or a push back into the low, I think both look equally as good. I mean, I probably would favor a pullback lower, better risk reward, but both opportunities make sense. There's a lot of momentum right now for US 30 in the market, very heavy bullish moves. So the buys are still very much in control and we're still likely to push higher. But yeah, hopefully you can find some pullbacks then. As for BTC's been awkward, I'm not going to lie, because we've had the break of the channel, but it's like, is this actually a breakout or is it a fake out? And I think the jury's still out on this one. I'm still undecided because we had a very kind of clear-cut bearish channel here. Was looking for the third test there, which we did get. We did see a nice reaction, but it was just short-lived. We didn't really see the fulfillment of a push back to lows. It was more of a push kind of a third of the way or 25% of the way, a quarter of the way before price did reverse. But now it's like, okay, is this a breakout for us to continue? Or is this a fake out? Is price just having a little bit of fun before it does have that sell? Not too sure. The way I'm looking to kind of decide that is what price kind of does at these lows or at these lows here, or at the highs here. If price does go and break to the downside through this, then I'm looking at this as a fake out, looking at this as the next lower high, then I'm expecting us to continue lower back into these lows. If price doesn't break to the downside but breaks to the upside through resistance here, then I'm looking at this as a breakout of the channel, and then I'm looking at this as the result, and a trend to the upside will likely follow, back to highs, new highs, and we'll see how far we can go from there. And in terms of an opportunity, just a simple break and retest of the high would be my best bet. So undecided yet what BTC is doing. It's a little bit all over the place. It does remind me what happened with gold like a month ago. We had that bearish channel here as well. Then we had a break and things were looking a little bit awkward. But gold did essentially just come back for the retest of the range and we had a nice rally. Of course, gold didn't really see the continuation though. And now we're just in a weird place at the moment. Maybe BTC might join gold. But we've had the channel as well. Looks like price is breaking out. Is it a retest of the channel? It might be. If it's the case, I'll wait for us to break to the upside first and then get the retest for the buy. And if it isn't, we can always look to flip that bias and take some shorts off the back of that, and targets would be the low. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with BTC as well. A bit awkward, not gonna lie. But I'm waiting for one or the other move and then I can be a bit more confident with my bias. But it's kind of 50-50 whether this is a breakout or not. So staying a little bit more on the fence with BTC. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Okay, D-Mar, catch you tomorrow, my man. Take care. Get yourself a clone. That's true, Yusuf. Yeah, get yourself another YouTube channel, YouTube account, or Gmail account. That is true. But or you can clone yourself as well. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. BTC, very awkward right now. Ethereum's kind of in the same boat as well, because Ethereum had a lovely, in fact, if I go to the weekly chart, Ethereum had a lovely retest of support here. So I'm like, okay, Ethereum, very nice retest. Perhaps we could see a lot more upside off the back of this. Essentially, this might just be a big fake out of that support level. Tested it once, there's your fake out, recovered it, there's your next test. Now, can we see some upside here for Ethereum? I think we can. That's what I'm favoring. But at the same time, we do have a lot of wicks just above us, and it's very awkward to try and break through them. It's going to take a little bit of energy. It's going to take some type of breakout, some catalyst to come into the market, maybe something fundamentally to help us push through that zone. No idea what it could be, but it's going to take some energy because we've had consistent weeks here for the past like 6, 7, 8 candles there. So we're going to need to see a pretty big candle to get that going. But the key thing for me for Ethereum is that this support is holding, doing a pretty good job at it as well. So I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum, expecting more upside. Longer term targets back to the highs here. But I guess we take it step by step. As I drop to the daily chart, yeah, things get a bit awkward. We are looking a bit fatigued already, so maybe we do come back down for another retest. That might be a nice idea to base a trade from as well. But Ethereum, I think we can see upside. Just need to see if we can break through all this noise here. But if we were to return back to support, I think that's a healthy place to buy. I'm actually going to keep an eye out that. I don't normally trade Ethereum, but I quite like the opportunity. Risk reward looks good. So if I can find a trade like this, stops down there, I think in terms of risk reward, if I can see a swing all the way up there, I think it'll be worth it. Or even halfway. Doesn't even have to be the full range, even if you can get a push wherever the 50% is. I think that'll be a smart place as well for a target. But yeah, we'll keep a close eye. I think maybe if BTC does break out and does rally, maybe then Ethereum does join the party and we can see a continuation off the back of that. But very, very awkward at the moment. Nice one, Lighton. That's a good idea. But yeah, I'll keep a close eye on CAD Yen, Euro Yen. So CAD Yen for some shorts. I'll see what we can do at the high. Not quite ready yet, but that's kind of what I'm going to be interested in. Euro Aussie, I'm also keen for some shorts there, but still looking very, very bullish. So I have to be very, very patient. Don't want to jump the gun. The market's pointing up. We could still see a lot more upside. Perhaps we continue back to highs. So I don't want to get in the way of that. I want to make sure that, okay, the likely chances that we're about to push lower, I wouldn't say that's quite the situation we have yet. So a few pairs I'm looking at, a few pairs not quite ready yet. Hopefully they can shape up. It's only Monday. Still a long way to go. But yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date with any opportunities. And of course, I'll let you know in the next stream if I do make a move anywhere. But we have come up to the end of the stream, guys. I do hope each and every one of you has enjoyed it, found it useful. If that is the case, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Telegram to Zenthrix. I posted it in the chat, but I will do it again. So go check it out if you haven't done so already. Also check out the Discord for elevating traders. You can post your setups there, post trading ideas there. If you want to discuss trading setups with different people, including myself, you can find us in the Discord there. So check it out. Links in the description to that as well. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. I hope you have all enjoyed it. Like I said, drop a like and subscribe before you do leave. Does help. We'll be live again tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are free, pop in, come say hi, and we can discuss FX together. But appreciate it, guys. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all in the next stream.
Zenthrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zenthrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?